All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are now going to get into talking about the NFC South. The NFC South, we will do our rankings post free agency with that division. So we're going to start off with the Saints. The Saints, to me, are at number 4. The Saints were not good last year. What they've done in free agency, I mean, they brought back Brandon Cooks. They did deal with a lot of injuries last year to the Saints. To Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. They bring back Brandon Cooks. And, I mean, he's kind of the replacement for Valdez-Scantling. Because Valdez-Scantling, he was impressive, I thought, in his playing time with the Saints. So, they bring back a veteran presence in Brandon Cooks. I think Cooks still has a little bit of gas left in the tank. Obviously not the same player he once was when he first got drafted by the Saints. But I think he can help. So they brought him in. They signed a center in Will Clapp. Jack Stoll, a tight end. They signed a corner. They brought back Juwan Johnson. They signed Justin Reed. Dante Pettis. Chase Young they brought back. Jonah Williams they signed. No needle movers really for me with the Saints. And look, they did get off to a 2-0 start, right? But then they kind of came back down to earth. And I just feel like in this division, I don't know. I just feel like and you got a rookie head coach coming in now, and Kellen Moore. I don't know. I'm putting the Saints last. I'm putting them last. So then at 3, I'm going to put the Panthers. The Panthers this offseason, not a lot of big moves. They brought in Nico Dowdle. They re-signed a lot of guys, so they didn't really do that much. I mean, again, we still got the draft coming up. Keep in mind. But and I think that's where you're going to see, major moves happen for the Panthers. But yeah, I mean, last year they also were not very good. However, you have to be optimistic on what you saw out of Bryce Young towards the end of the year. If he could step it up a notch next season, I mean, then you got to be even more encouraged. But I think, that benching, that really helped him. That helped him. He looked like a different quarterback when he stepped in. And they almost knocked off the Bucs in Carolina had Chuba Hubbard not have fumbled. They basically ended the Cardinals' playoff hopes, knocking them off. They almost beat the Eagles. They almost beat the Chiefs. They played the two teams that represented both conferences in the Super Bowl. Teams that played in the Super Bowl, the Panthers hung in with them. They came back against the Chiefs. They could have beat the Eagles. They in Philly, gotta give them respect. So let's see what they do next year. But I'm gonna put them again. Not a lot of needle movers in free agency. Really no needle movers in free agency. But to me, I think they're in a better spot right now than the Saints. So then at number 2, got the Atlanta Falcons. All right. Defense is what they need to address in the draft. They did sign Leonard Floyd to help on defense. They also signed Morgan Fox, defensive tackle, Mike Ford Jr., corner. They brought back Cordero Hodge, who scored that game-winning touchdown in overtime last year against the Bucs. They brought back Mike Hughes. Not a ton of moves by the Falcons. A lot of their moves are going to come in the draft. But I think defense is really what they're going to have to address there. Maybe they add another weapon, but you're kind of set on offense. Because you have Bijan Robinson, you got Drake London as a number 1. You got, Kyle Pitts. Every year we say, is he going to break out, but it doesn't happen. Darnell Mooney's your number 2. Yeah, it's Michael Penix's show now. Defense is where they really got to lock in and take the right guys. And we'll see if they do that. The defense was not very good last year. They struggled. And, if they can get that right, this can be an improved team next year. But I'm still going to put them at 2. And then at number 1, I got the Bucs. I still got the Bucs, the reigning, defending NFC South champions. They brought in Hassan Reddick on a cheap deal, which I think could actually, pan out for them. They needed a pass rusher. And I think that's also something that they can also address in the draft, because they do get, pass rush up the middle with Vita Vea, but they need guys on the outside that can get to the quarterback. And Hassan Reddick had a very disappointing year with the Jets and, with all the contract stuff. Hassan Reddick could be, a good pickup. But I think the Bucs definitely got to, add more to that defense in the draft. That's another team that needs it. They brought back Chris Godwin, which I didn't expect it. I thought Chris Godwin was going to end up going elsewhere, and he did almost sign. I think he almost signed with the Patriots, but then he signed back a 3-year, $66 million contract, $44 million guaranteed. Godwin was on his way to having his best season as a pro, and then he unfortunately got hurt. Late in that game against the Ravens on Monday night. And you bring him back with Mike Evans, and Jalen McMillan showed you something last year in his rookie year. Cade Otton, the running backs, Baker Mayfield. This is a good offense, and bringing back Godwin helps. They brought back Levante David on defense, but outside of that, they really did not do. They didn't do that much. This division, of all the moves they made, there really wasn't any move where you're like, wow, that was a great move by this team. I guess, with the Bucs bringing back Godwin, but, that's that was an in-house signing. So, similar to what they did last year, the Bucs, they re-signed their guys. And those are the best moves they made. So, but to go through it again, got the the Saints at 4, Panthers 3, Falcons 2, Bucs 1. That's where we're at. And, with the draft coming up, obviously, there will be more changes to the rosters, and then maybe, the rankings change. But that's kind of how I have it right now. So, next week, we'll cover the NFC West, and then we will cover all of the divisions in the AFC as well. So, make sure to tune in for that. And then the following week, it's the draft. It's draft week. And all of our questions will be answered. And then the schedule comes out, and then, before you know it, football's back. Don't want to rush it, though. Don't want to rush the summer. Got a lot of exciting things coming up over the summer. I don't want to rush it. And also that means baseball. Well, I might want to rush it because, the Yankees are disappointing me, the baseball side of things. But right now they're 7-5. Okay, they won a big game the other day, although Devin Williams almost blew the game, but they got by. For the Yankees, it's all about just getting by. It's all about just getting by, stacking up as many wins as possible until you get some of your guys back that you're expecting back. So, but I know some people watching this are like, who cares about the Yankees? Well, I do. I just wanted to bring that up. But that is pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Make sure to check out all the other shows as well on the network. Again, NBA playoffs are coming up. Regular season is almost over. Ends this weekend. There's still some things that are some playoff spots that are up for grabs. The Western Conference still, has not been finalized yet. We basically, looking at the Eastern Conference, as we kind of jump around a little bit here. I was about to wrap up here, but to go to the Eastern Conference quickly. So, actually, the top 6 spots are finalized. There could be a change in how the play-in is set up with, 7 through 8. Could the Bulls pass the Hawks and get the 8th spot? Because they're a game behind them. But, top 6 spots are set. The first-round matchups, at least, 3 through 6, you're getting Pacers-Bucks again. in the first round, and then you're getting the Knicks and the Pistons, and they just played each other last night, and the Pistons won. Although the Knicks were resting some guys, so yeah, no, we will. We'll see how it all goes, but yeah, playoff matchups will be finalized by next week. With the play-in, and NHL playoffs are coming up soon. We'll see how many games are left in their schedule. There's about another week of games, regular season games, and then that'll start up, and then you got playoffs for that, and and then when does the Oh wow, yeah, I was gonna say the WNBA. The WNBA doesn't start for another month. It actually starts. I think this is preseason. It starts the night I go to the Yankee Met game when Juan Soto makes his return to the Bronx. So, yeah, I can't wait for that night. That's gonna be a fun game. I'm actually going to 2 games. So I'll be going to that one, and then be going to I think the first Yankees Red Sox game of the season in the Bronx. That'll be on that's on June 6th. So, yeah, two rivalry games that I will be going to this season, and then there'll be obviously be some more sprinkled in, and if they make the playoffs, obviously I'll be going to one of those. That's usually a guarantee, but yeah, we kind of jumped around a little bit after going to close out the show, but yeah, now that is pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Give the other show some love, like I always say. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our videos and our YouTube channels. And if you're on the go and you want to listen to us, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. Just, look up the podcast, GSMC Sports Network, or, the other podcasts that you watch on the network. And, until next time, I am Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. I mean, actually, no, not tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. Take care.